You checked out buymeacoffee.com/illuminate? You should. It's free to follow. There's also membership tiers. You pick your experience there, but it's uncensored and where you can find all of my work. If you haven't done so, go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and thank you.
I ain't getting no help.
You've been looking for someone friendly, knowledgeable, and with adequate products in the CBD department?
I know who to see.
Well, Stanky Farms has got you covered. From their farm to your hands is their motto, and their products, they stand by them.
And they give it to me.
Whatever it is in the CBD department, they've got it. So make sure you check out Stanky Farms. Everything from flowers to edibles are available.
You're the one for me. StankyFarms.com. From our farm to your hand. High quality, hemp-derived natural products.
And use code EPTIMES, all caps, at checkout for your chance to save.
Hello, everyone. Welcome to Kudlow. I'm Larry Kudlow. So, acknowledging that Russia carved out a big chunk of Ukraine, President Biden this afternoon announced a very weak, low-level set of sanctions on Russia. So these were not really the swift and severe consequences that he had been bragging about for so many weeks. The Russian stock market, by the way, rose 6.5% after Biden's announcement. What does that tell you? In the prior several days, it had been collapsing. Now, Biden did follow Germany in not certifying Nord Stream 2, but that's just really a temporary paper contract issue. It's not a long-term or permanent shutdown. He basically hit a couple of banks tied to the Donbass region, which is really not much. The GDP for the whole of Ukraine is about $160 billion, maybe. And the GDP of Donbass is under $6 billion, and the GDP of Lugansk is $1 billion. Also, maybe. Delaware's GDP, just to pick a random comparison, is $76 billion. So to call Biden's sanctions small beer is understating it. Remember, if Russia invaded Ukraine, our president was going to impose swift and severe consequences, remember? But he didn't. And I'm particularly interested in Mr. Biden's statement about protecting America from rising gasoline prices. Please take a listen.
My administration is using every tool at our disposal to protect American businesses and consumers from rising prices at the pump. As I said last week, defending freedom will have cost for us as well and here at home. We need to be honest about that.
So, Mr. Biden, you need to be honest about the damage you're doing to the American energy industry. In fact, you've done everything you can to drive up prices, and you know it because you're dancing to the radical green tune. Your jihad against fossil fuels has held down production in the face of rising demand, and that has been a key factor in driving up world oil prices towards $100 a barrel. In effect, Biden's jihad against fossil fuel is financing Vladimir Putin's military adventures. Because if we were producing at 13 million barrels a day, as we did pre-pandemic, except today's 11 million, oil prices would be substantially lower, and Putin would be significantly poorer. Mr. Biden's energy policies have been utterly self-destructive to America, and they have directly empowered Putin and all of Putin's crazy, ahistoric, romanticized, inaccurate visions of history. Russia is a Nothingheimer economy. It's roughly $1.5 trillion of GDP. The U.S. is $23 trillion. But as the late Senator John McCain put it years ago, Russia's like an old gas station masquerading as a country. And Biden's anti-oil policies are enabling Putin to raise gas station prices. Well, Mr. Biden has the audacity to tell us how he wants to protect American business and consumers from rising prices at the pump. The New York Times headline for February 20th, that's right, the New York Times was, Biden administration halts new drilling in legal fight over climate costs. It went on to say that the Interior Department is indefinitely freezing decisions about new federal oil and gas drilling. The Bidens are also at war with several judges who disagree with the idea of something called the social cost of carbon, which is a phony metric drummed up by extreme radical greenies. Their idea is that pipeline analysis should include carbon emissions from upstream production and downstream consumption, even though there is no reliable way to measure either. That, according to a Wall Street Journal editorial. The Louisiana Attorney General Jeff Landry has called the social cost of carbon voodoo economics. AGs from, get this, Alabama, Florida, Georgia, Kentucky, Mississippi, South Dakota, Texas, West Virginia, and Wyoming are suing the federal government over this. Last week, Biden's Federal Energy Regulatory Commission, FERC, revised its policy for natural gas pipelines and export terminals using this phony metric to stop new pipelines. Of course, we all recall that in the first hour of his presidency, Biden vetoed the Keystone XL pipeline. Later on, he banned drilling in Alaska, raised drilling fees on public lands, and on and on. Now, if Mr. Biden were a smart president, and if he really wanted to go after Putin, he would simply tell American fossil fuel producers to turn the spigots back on. And then he would lift all the tax and regulatory barriers that he has erected. Turning the spigots back on would provide all the spare capacity necessary to stabilize oil and natural gas prices and to continue American dominance in LNG exports to Europe and the rest of the world. Turning the spigots on would really stick it to Vladimir Putin. But Mr. Biden is not a smart president. He is a weak president and a weak man with only a paper-thin understanding of all the natural forces involved in climate change. A smart president would pursue an all-of-the-above energy policy because we're going to need all the energy we can get from every possible source in order to spur prosperity at home and national security abroad. But Biden is not the man. Save America. The cavalry is coming.
Nothing's going on. Yeah. Hey guys, welcome to Eluminate. I'm Erica Parrótt. If you haven't done so, go ahead and click subscribe. Thank you for joining in. And to all of you all that just got to this page in the last month and a half, welcome. Thank you guys. I really appreciate you all and love you, and thank you for your support and your time and your feedbacks, as well as the things that you throw into my path that I miss because, well, you know, there's nothing going on, but there's so much going on. So let's just kick the week off strong, Will. Let's see here. We had Queen test positive for COVID on Monday. Trudeau stopping funds for sure. Not just being talked about. Actual ATMs not spitting a thing out. Bank said, no go, we closed. Truth Social launched. That thing just blows my mind. I mean, anyways, crazy weather. I mean, for real, 71 on Tuesday here, Wednesday in Philly. We had high to mid 60s on Tuesday, hit over 70 on Wednesday to wake up this morning on Thursday, and well, it's freezing. And wouldn't you know it, Thursday night, freezing rain. It's anybody's guess anymore. I mean, what season is it really? We don't know. We have Ukraine and Russia. Now, yes, I've not touched Ukraine and Russia with a 10-foot pole since it's actually began and been in the news because, well, it's always in the news. I'm about what's not really in MSM. Let's talk about that. You know, the things that are actually happening. Excuse me, the things that are going on, the conversations that are being had, yet are being downplayed. That is what Eluminate is all about. Let's shine some light on that. Let's bring all these things into the conversation so that we can have a well-rounded conversation. I mean, there's no point in just talking about it from one side because Nothing in this life is one-sided. So, we're going to talk about Russia and Ukraine for a little bit today, pop up some things because, well, I mean, let's just be honest. Would this have happened if Trump was in office? Don't worry. I'm not going to wait. And it is my business because I live in this country. And I tried, listen, it don't matter. Don't matter what people try to tell people. What matters is what people are willing to detach from. What stories are you willing to stop telling yourself long enough emotionally to allow yourself to logically look at the story? Because yes, while there may be a whole lot of truth, is all of it true? Well, you'll never know until you unattach those emotions, my friend. So, yeah. And bombs dropping. That's why we're going to talk about Ukraine now. Bombs dropping. They reported that an airport in Ukraine was blown up. But there's some really cool maps that I really need you guys to help me with as well. And I don't know that you guys have seen them. So let's talk about it. I mean, it's there. We might as well talk about it. That's what this is about. Let's get it out there in the open. But my favorite one of all, and I swear to God, if I hear one person that I know for a fact voted for Biden say a damn word, when their pocketbook gets even tighter here in the next, well, for the next year and a half, it's not two. If I hear you gripe one time, understand, I'm throwing something in your general direction. So you get your reflexes on, get your duck game ready. Because, nah, don't complain about what you permit. Live through it. It's called a consequence. And guess what? Inflation just jumped, baby. Yes, it did. Yes, we definitely are in a 40-year high. What the what? Inflation jumped 7.5%. You realize the Federal Reserve was already talking about, well, you know, we are thinking about raising the borrowing rates. 2 weeks ago, they were talking about this. What's his name? Jerome Powell or whatever? Yeah. 2 weeks ago, they were talking about this. And now, bam! Well, it just reinforces what they said. We have decided to begin raising borrowing rates across the economy. What does that mean? Did you want a new car? I hope you're paying for it completely out of pocket. Interest rates affected. Oh, you have a bunch of credit cards? Interest rates now affected. What was that about? You're looking for a new business loan? Interest rates now affected. Y'all paying attention yet? For everybody that said, my friends, it's crazy. Ain't nothing bigger coming. It's not gonna get no worse. It's only 14 days. It's just a virus. Never had to do with a virus, but they needed to create a panic. And now look at us. I can't even sit here and be calm. So we just gonna. Yes, we're going here again first this weekend. You know why? Because I found something in my rabbit hole journey that the esteemed London Times wrote in 1987. And then I found an article in 2016 that had been fact-checked, confirming the same. And now a message from Bill Maher.
COVID survivability rate of 99.98%, mask up like bandits. Unfortunately, the thing that's getting stolen is their education, their sanity, and their social skills. A study this week from a professor at Johns Hopkins concluded that the lockdowns we all suffered through had little impact in reducing COVID deaths. Okay, that's kind of a big one to get wrong. Last July, President Biden said, you're not going to get COVID if you have these vaccinations. Well, I already knew that was wrong then, and now we all do. The former director of the CDC, Robert Redfield, believes COVID originated in a lab, and now our intelligence agencies agree it might have. But for months on social media, it was banned to even discuss it. Look, I'm not saying the medical establishment isn't trying to figure shit out or that they're corrupt, although there is some of that. But how about just wrong? Wrong a lot. Wrong about HIV, wrong about lockdowns, wrong about kids, wrong about how you couldn't get it if you were vaccinated. Remember washing our packages? And there's never been any research showing that outdoor transmission is likely or common, yet LA County says we're still supposed to mask up for big outdoor events, like we'll be at the Super Bowl. Well, supposed to. It's all theater, watching athletes mix it up on the court and then mask on the sideline, not being able to touch a menu, but watching them touch my food. Maskless at dinner while sitting but not standing. And by the way, if Applebee's really cared about our health, they would make us cover our mouths after the food arrived. I'm just asking, how much wrong do you get to be while still holding the default setting for people who represent the science?
Okay, we're going to talk about Ukraine. I mean, let's just think for a second, out of the box here. I mean, let's look at Twitter from this week, from the Clown Brigade, okay? You can tell from that, everybody's trying to protect their interests. Now, the big question is, what are those interests? But furthermore, let's talk about Ukraine from this perspective. All right, check this map out. Now check this website out. Now check out this map where things have been bombed. Now let's look at them side by side. But Erica, what does all this mean? Well, that website, yes, here it is again. That's basic admission that the U.S. has BioLab depots across Ukraine and on the border with Russia. All right, let's talk about Truth Social, that is. Okay, for me, I'm observing, not absorbing with the whole thing, because I mean, one, it was born when Obama was in administration. Anything born during his time, well, I'm just kind of wishy-washy about. But everybody was excited because it launched, but it only launched on iOS. And wait, but you can't get in. People are waiting. The thing was not really ready, and Nunez has said too much. But here's what's ironic. People are already complaining that they've been kicked off. It's also reported that bots, as well as volunteer moderators, help run the site. Even though you have Nunez, the CEO of Truth, out here screaming, there are no bots. It's conflicting. So, you know, with all the mystery that surrounds it, it's kind of got me just observe, don't absorb. Just take it all in, no emotions. But is it for the deep state to start dropping links? Or is it for something else? I don't know, but it just feels fishy. That DSN. Now, if this isn't interesting, take a look at this video captured by two gentlemen on the Bay Bridge. You'll hear them say, the toll booths have been removed. Your tax dollars have been paying for these things to now be installed.
Okay guys, it is 6:42 p.m. here, and we're coming across the Bay Bridge in Maryland. We've been on Bay Bridge. We've been doing some investigative research all day, but I want to show you these, they have these new gates that are very draconian, right? Where they're gonna be able to, so they took away the toll booths, I think at the beginning of COVID, whatever, and now we're gonna come up with it now. So there's a lot of construction going on here. You can see there's these new signs or something that are gonna go up, but these gates are what I think is very strange. Let me show them to you here as we come up. This is the Bay Bridge in Maryland. It's the bridge is 3 miles long. Okay, so here they are. There's one, you see? Here's another, right here. These are big, there's another, look. Big, huge steel gate. Here's another, look. Big, huge steel gate. See, look at them all, look at them all. Right? These are all new, okay? They're all new, and that's how, here's more. Look how big this one is, look at this. Right, here's another one, right here. So So whenever they want, they're going to flip the switch, right? And you're not going to cross the Bay Bridge anymore. It's very obvious and clear. So I hope you were able to see that in this video. And now, of course, we're coming over the Chesapeake Bay Bridge. But yeah, this is what it looks like. Now we're heading towards Annapolis, good to get back from the Eastern Shore to Maryland. But yeah, it's unbelievable. And I'm sorry it's dark, but during the daytime you can see, and we were coming across, we're like, what in the hell is that? And clearly it's a way that they can completely shut this off, and looks like even an 18-wheeler couldn't get through it. So I'm just showing
For
you
things
guys
not mentioned,
latest.
well, the Queen, I think she's another Ruth. I think we'll find out she's dead, and when we do find out that she has passed, the date we find out, we'll also find out it was way before that. That's my opinion. As far as anything else, well, you know, get on buymeacoffee.com/ELUMINATE. Eluminate. Yes, it's free to follow. Everything there is uncensored. It's always available and going strong. Any links not in this description, well, get on Buy Me a Coffee, hit the follow button at the top. That way, you're on the email list and I never lose touch with you. Even if Facebook crashes, because, well, you know, that stock's going down. So, until next time, remain out of your emotions. Try to visualize what it feels like to separate yourself from your emotions and then take action, because honestly, that's your only choice. Even though some things must register on an emotional level, the response still must be logical. Until next time, thanks for watching, and if you haven't done so, go ahead and hit that subscribe button.